voice can break the dark. A single spark ignites the heart. But if we turn when justice calls, the chains we forge will bind us all. When truth is silenced, when lies take hold, the cost is freedom, the soul grows cold. No one stands tall while another must fall. Freedom for one depends on freedom for all. We're mavericks of freedom, rebels in the fight, defending every voice, defending every right. For the moment we falter, the moment we stall, we lose our own freedom when we let others fall. You can't stand free while others kneel. When justice fades, it's freedom they steal. An innocent condemned, a crime unspoken, and with it the bond of liberty is broken. No tyrant rules without our consent. Oppression thrives where silence is spent. Stand for the weak, the silence the small, or freedom will crumble for us all. We're mavericks of freedom, guardians of the light, fighting for the truth, for what is just and right. For the rights of one are the rights of all. We rise or we fall by answering the call. Even those we may oppose deserve the rights we all uphold. For if we deny them what is fair, we build our own prison in despair. The fight's not easy, it never will be, but justice for one is the key to be free. We stand as mavericks, together we strive, defending the rights that keep freedom alive. We're mavericks of freedom, rebels in the fight, upholding every truth, protecting every right. When one is oppressed, we're all in the thrall. Freedom for one depends on freedom for all. So take a stand, let your courage rise. Defend the truth, don't compromise. For the soul of the world, the writing's on the wall. Freedom for one depends on freedom for all.
Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Welcome back to the Maverick News Channel, everyone. Hello, Mavericks. Thank you for being here tonight. And what a night it is. Well, last night, an amazing night. When it mattered most, Team Canada rose to the occasion. And it was not just a hockey game. It was so much more. I'll talk about that tonight. You can too. We'll likely go to the phones, so you can weigh in on the conversation. We're also going to give you some highlights from the CPAC Conservative Conference, where Steve Bannon, what did he do? You can decide. Was it a Nazi salute or just a wave? I'm getting a little bit suspicious. And Elon Musk also on the stage there will bring you some of what he had to say today. Kash Patel confirmed, yes, he's going to be the FBI director. We'll bring you that too. Stay with me. Lots of ground to cover tonight.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching.
The world is watching. On TV, the entire world is watching. On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching. Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals. Defenders of individual rights and freedoms. Credible. Trusted. Grounded in reality. Maverick News. Maverick News. Defending free speech. Free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Where shall we start? Should we start with Bannon, or should we start with the hockey win? I'm going to go to the chat. What do you guys think? What's the most important thing tonight? What's important to you? Let me, I'm going to pull up the Rumble channel here. Norfa says, I could care less about hockey, but congratulations to all the fans. And Johnny, being the provocateur that he normally is in the chat, hates Ukrainians. Full of hate. Isabel, hockey. Okay. It wasn't just a hockey game. So much more. I'm pretty emotional about it. You know, last night Canada faced off against the United States in the Four Nations Face-Off Championship game in Boston. And what a night it was. Canada clinched a thrilling 3-2 victory in overtime, an outcome that's being celebrated across the country, not just for the hockey, but for what it means at this very moment in time. Let's talk about why this game was so much more than just a sporting event for Canadians. You see, This win comes at a critical juncture. U.S. President Donald Trump has been stirring the pot, repeatedly floating the idea of Canada becoming America's 51st state. Pretty insulting. He's been goading Canada, suggesting it's only a matter of time before our northern neighbor bends to his vision, offering lower taxes and stronger security and all that jazz. All the promises he can muster under the stars and stripes. It's all about the Benjamins for him. But for Canadians, this isn't just political banter. It's a direct challenge to our sovereignty, our identity, and, this is very important, it's a challenge to our very existence as a nation. Last night's game became a battleground for that identity. You see, to Donald Trump, Canada doesn't really exist. In his little mind, Canada is so weak that we are inconsequential. We shouldn't even exist as a country. In his mind, the border is just an imaginary line that we need to get rid of so that he can be in control of everything up here, so that he can take what Canada has, so he can absorb Canada, assimilate us, as though he's the King Borg. Now let's step back for a second and think about why something as simple as a national anthem matters so much in sports. When O Canada, or the Star-Spangled Banner, echoes through an arena, it's not just a tradition, it's a statement. Countries at their core are just ideas. They're concepts that only become real when people believe in them, when citizens recognize their legitimacy, and when other nations respect their borders and their right to exist. Donald Trump has no respect for Canada or Mexico. Hence, Gulf of Mexico becoming Gulf of America? Not really, but in his little mind it is. That anthem, the Canadian national anthem, it is a sonic flag, a declaration of we are here and we are real. It's why fans cheer or sometimes boo, because it's not just music. It's the sound of a nation asserting itself. It's free speech. It's a peaceful exercise and demonstration of sovereignty, identity. It's a declaration of our existence as a country, as Canadians, and even as individuals. We are real. We didn't need tanks. We didn't need fighter jets to assert our sovereignty. Team Canada did that last night on the ice. Last night, with tensions already sky high, that anthem took on even greater weight. Canadian singer Chantal Kreviazuk even changed a lyric in O Canada before the game, which is almost a Canadian tradition if you go back, and it's certainly a hockey tradition, isn't it? For us to change our national anthem and to have people take liberties with the lyrics. So she changed a lyric in O Canada before the game, singing that only us command instead of in all of us command. Only us command. A subtle but powerful jab at Trump's rhetoric. A reminder that Canada answers to itself, not to anyone else. And when Canada won in overtime, with Sidney Crosby hoisting the trophy, the arena had no choice but to play O Canada again, this time as the victor's anthem. And Donald Trump no doubt heard that anthem echoing through the arena, all through national broadcast television, all across the United States, Canada, all through North America and around the world. That moment forced the United States, and yes, Donald Trump himself, to hear it loud and clear. Canada isn't just some hypothetical 51st state, a concept in his little mind waiting to be annexed. We are a sovereign, viable country with a heartbeat, a will, and a fierce pride. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, like him or hate him, didn't miss the chance to drive that home. And so he should have. So he did. He did his job, and he stood up as a Canadian, as our Prime Minister, posting on X right after the game. You can't take our country, and you can't take our game. For Canadians, this wasn't just a win on the ice. It was a win for the idea of Canada itself. So as the echoes of last night's victory linger, it's a reminder. Nations don't just exist because of lines on a map. They exist because people fight for them, whether that's on the ice, in the stands, or in the face of a blustering neighbor. Love you guys. I love Canada. I'll be right back.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow, maybe too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, folks. What a game. Oh, and there it is, right there. That was the moment. That was the moment where they played the national anthem, the Canadian national anthem. I won't play it here because of the copyright issue, but that's what it looked like. It's a moment, Canada, for Canadians, it will resonate for generations. When it was needed most, they stepped up, didn't they? It just meant so much to the country. It was just one of those iconic moments for Canadians. Our American friends will probably forget about this tomorrow, but if they haven't forgotten already. But for Canadians, it's important. It's a source of national pride. Oh boy, so much. And thank you to the Cron for the $2 donation. Thank you so much in the Rumble rants. Truly appreciate that. You can donate over there. In the Rumble Rants, it's like Super Chat on YouTube, which we don't have access to because we're demonetized, but that's okay. We'll survive somehow, thanks to your support. Now, the other big story tonight, CPAC Conservative Conference. We've got a lot of ground to cover tonight. CPAC, Steve Bannon gave a barn burner of a speech of sorts, but did something that really got some people pretty upset. Extended his arm in a gesture that some people are saying is a Nazi salute. He says it was just a wave. So French National Rally president, they characterize him as a far-right National Rally president, has now canceled his speech at CPAC, and he did that in a reaction to what Bannon did, extending his arm. So I've queued up the speech, and we're going to run that speech from his speech all the way through for you right here, so that you get everything in context, and so you'll see, you can watch for the moment when he does it, and I may highlight it afterward in case you miss it, but you know, it's pretty clear when that moment comes. And the other thing that I find interesting is that he's calling for Trump to run again in 2028. He says it again in this speech. That's not really supposed to happen. And that also has some people worried because they feel like Trump is doing an end run around the Constitution, or is planning to. And I think he is, frankly. I think he's looking for a way to run again. I know that there's proposed legislation out there, and I'll get into the particulars on how that might possibly happen after we listen to this.
Yo! What a glorious...
Yeah, let me fix this for you. Okay, here we go.
Day! Hold it. How did I draw the card to follow Elon Musk? Come on, man! You bring out the world's wealthiest guy, Superman, I'm supposed to follow it? I'm just a crazy Irishman. This is a glorious day. You know why it's glorious? Kash Patel's director of the FBI. Confirmed by the United States Senate.
That's not it.
Bobby Kennedy Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth. Didn't they tell you it couldn't be done? Didn't they? All right there. Didn't the mainstream media say it couldn't be done? None of them, right? It's a glorious day. Mitch McConnell's gone. He retired, right? You did that. Remember on the Ukraine vote? Remember that? He broke his pick on that. You delivered that. Just like you delivered Tulsi and Bobby and Pete and Kash. They said Trump wouldn't get any of his cabinet members as key. He got them all. Why? Because of you. Scott Besson today said Elon's group in the first 30 days found $55 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse, right? $55 billion, that's going to add up to $600, $700, $800 billion. In 1 month, they've done that. And President Trump comes that day, he's so excited, he says, hey, I think we can balance the budget, right? President Trump, hang on for a second. Let's just get it down under $1 trillion. We'll start there. Zelensky's been put in his place, right? Right? And the J6ers are here at CPAC. of them. From the medium-high security prisons to the U.S. penitentiaries, to the men that got diesel therapy, all of them are here. Right? They don't like that up there. You don't like the J6s being here. The J6 are here. Hey, and let me tell you something else. I talked to Ambassador Rick Grinnell last night, and the J6ers, I think, the J6 choir is going to play the Kennedy Center for a night in honor of their families. In fact, I got an idea. The night that they play, the J6 choir plays and opens the new with Rick Grinnell and President Trump as chairman. We have the J6 choir, right? And we invite all the families they try to destroy, the J6ers, and they get to sit in the boxes where the elite sit, right? And we take the elite for just one night, and we take them down to the D.C. Gulag, right? For one night. Think they can handle that? I don't think so either. Game likes game, right? Game knows game, right? I tell you, it's game. The gentleman sitting in the White House, Donald J. Trump, it's a glorious day. Days of thunder. Days of thunder and years of lightning. Every day is Christmas Day. Every day you get more executive orders, more executive actions. It's not going to stop. But you know what's the most important thing of all that? It's you. You're here today at CPAC. You represent the tip of the spear of the populist nationalist movement. All of that, from Castile to McConnell leaving, to the J6 being free, right? To Zelensky being put in his place. And Elon just said it right there. It's been nothing but grift. The parents and the kids in Ukraine didn't want him to die. Who wanted him to die? The globalists want him to die. Who said stop it? You said stop it. You gave voice to President Trump. Now, why is it so important that all the media's here and the world's here and the Financial Times of London and the New York Times and all these? Why are they all here? They're not here to see me. They can see me every day on Real America's Voice screaming like a madman into a microphone. They can see Rob Schmidt and Elon. Elon's everywhere, right? It's great he did this. He's everywhere. Right? J.D. Vance, gave a great speech, and you can see J.D. all the time. President Trump's going to give a magnificent speech on Saturday, is he not? But they get enough of President Trump every day, don't they? Hell yeah. He calls them into the Oval Office. He's signing executive executive orders, and they're sitting there throwing these questions. Ba-boom, ba-boom. He's like a howitzer. Oh, they got enough of President Trump. You know what they're really here for? You're here because of you. They can't defeat what they don't understand. They can't destroy what they don't understand, right? They can't contain what they don't understand. From Riyadh to Beijing to Berlin to the city of London to Buenos Aires, you name it, in every world capital, every hedge fund, every political consultant, all the money, all the power, all the legislation. You know what they want? They want to understand MAGA. You know why? You represent the best of the American people. In your righteous indignation, you rose up. Right? You rose up. How many times I've been doing this? Last 2 or 3 years? What did I tell you last year on this very stage? We're going to win. We're going to win the primary. We're going to win the general election. And Donald Trump's going to return to the White House. And all these guys, all the mainstream media, the fake news, mocked and ridiculed. Trump's not going to win the primary, right? They had, who was it? Nikki Haley? Had Governor, and I like Governor DeSantis' life. Has Governor DeSantis dropped out by then? I don't remember. Well, it was soon thereafter. You had Trump's back. You had Trump's back in those dark days of 2021, did you not? Remember, he went to Mar-a-Lago, and it was like a lion in winter, and they all abandoned him except for you. And the Schlaps had enough guts and courage to taking the CPAC in Orlando and march 47 days after he had gone into exile because, guess what? They stole the 2020 election. Is there any doubt in your mind that they stole the 2020 election? They stole it. And they know they stole it. They thought you were finished. They were going to debank you. They were going to deplatform you. You were nothing but trash. You're nothing but garbage. You're nothing but deplorables. Right? You surprised them with Hillary Clinton in 16. And guess what? 74 million, 11 more than we had in 2016 voted when you won the 2020 election. And the reason the J6ers are here and they're patriots is because that was a Fed surrection, totally set up by the FBI, by the Justice Department, by DEA, all of them. And we're going to show the receipts. We're going to show the receipts. And they thought Trump's finished and you're finished. No. I want you to look within yourself right now of that journey. Go back to 2021. Go back to your life. Go back to the anxiety, and man, Trump won, but they stole it. The system's so big, so corrupt, so powerful. Remember that? Back on our heels, right? You didn't quit, just like in any military contest. We got a rally point. We dug the guide on in and said, you know what? Regroup, dust ourselves off, fix bayonets. We're charging again. That is why Kash Patel is the director of the FBI. That is why Bobby Kennedy is the head of HHS. That is why Tulsi Gabbard is a DNI. That is why Pete Hegseth is across the river in the Pentagon. Fix bayonets. Fix bayonets. You're not going to stop. You know why they fear you in Riyadh. You know why they fear you in Beijing. You know why they fear you in Berlin and the city of London, because they know you're not stoppable, right? This time, almost 80 million votes, 40% of black men in this country came and voted with you and supported you. Majority of Hispanic families voted with you. Every Asian American in this country, come. This is your home, is MAGA, right? Everybody from India that's here in the United States as a citizen, come. This is your home, MAGA, right? Make America healthy again. Do it like that. We're going to hard weld MAHA to MAGA. You're unstoppable. You're unstoppable, and they know that. You don't think in Riyadh they know that. You don't think in Rome they know that. You don't think in Berlin they know that. The righteous indignation of the American people, just like every patriot grave, just like the Revolution, the Civil War, and World War II, they understand when the American people, with its common sense, isn't what President Trump say, a revolution of common sense, right? It's also a revolution of common decency. The decency, the grit, the determination, the courage of the American people is unparalleled in world history. This is why we have our best and brightest on every battlefield all throughout the world, from the South Pacific to Europe to North Africa. What other nation on earth's ever done that? None. What other people have ever done that? None. Only you. And you rose up, and you said, you know what? Trump is our guy. Is President Trump perfect? No, he's far from perfect. He's an imperfect instrument. But I will tell you, General Washington was an imperfect instrument. Abraham Lincoln was an imperfect instrument. And he's the third. These come along about every 100 years. Leaders that take us in a new direction. And that's what Trump has done. It was divine providence that won 16. And it was divine providence hand that let them steal 2020. Because we had to see how depraved they were. We had to see how demonic they were. We had to see what they were prepared to do to this country. And what did you do? Did you ever falter? No, you did not. Did you ever doubt? No, you did not. Did you ever question? No, you did not. And you know what it brought us? A glorious, glorious, glorious victory. The reason these phonies in the mainstream media, who are nothing but the propaganda department for the ruling class in this world, right? They fear you. They fear you because they understand you're not beatable. You're not beatable. They've had every shot, and right now, and I want people to celebrate and to come together. We're going to do it the next couple of days. But understand the toughest part of this war is ahead of us. I've never promised you anything. I've never promised you sunlit uplands. I said it's ahead of us, maybe decades. But it's times in American history that people have to lay it all down. You're expendable to get to bridge to the other side. You know that. You're not asking for a handout. You're not asking for a pat on the head, right? You're not asking for a thank you. All you're asking for is, where is my musket? Where's my bayonet? And where do I go over the top? The other question, they're all running around. What's the future of MAGA? What's the future of 2028? We ain't worried about 2028. We're worried about today and tomorrow and the next day. That's how we won. We didn't go back in 2021. Well, what's going to happen in 2024? No, it's every single day. You report for duty and we get it done. Action, action, action. So media, you don't have to come up and ask me. I'm going to tell you right now. The future of America is MAGA, okay? And the future of MAGA is Donald J. Trump. We want Trump in 28. That's what they can't stand. A man like Trump comes along only once or twice in a country's history, right? We want Trump. 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 God, I love you. Nothing's gonna work them up like that. No. They want to say, oh, Trump's a lame duck, Trump's this, Trump's that, Trump's not around 28. Trump is here. He's the leader of this movement. When they record the history of this age, they ain't gonna remember me or Elon Musk or Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity. They're gonna remember two things: Donald Trump and MAGA, okay? And you know why? You know why they know they can't beat you and why they're so upset? Your agency, your human agency. You did this yourselves. You came, you worked through it. You said, I'm gonna put aside fear. I'm gonna put aside questions and concerns. I'm gonna put aside my anxiety of the 2020 election being stolen. I'm gonna get together. We're gonna fight. We're not gonna back off any day. Your agency, your human agency, right? They can come up with all the algorithms in Silicon Valley they want. They can take away half of the economy as far as labor goes. Human agency is what drives this world forward, right? This is the Holy Spirit working through us. Your agency. That's why Trump, General Washington and Lincoln and Trump, they come along every 100 years. Most nations never have them. We've had 3. He is an instrument of divine providence, right? Of course he is. Look what he's running. Look at what this capital has become. The revolutionary generation never anticipated this imperial capital, right? If they came back today, they would spit on the floor to see what we've allowed to do, what we've allowed to happen, right? With the lords of easy money and the oligarchs. And they would say, hey, what we need is a populist nationalist revolution. And guess what? Donald Trump gave them one, right? It's going to get so tough. It's going to get so hard. Are you going to quit or are you going to back Trump? Are you prepared to fight when he made the moral decision to come back from Mar-a-Lago, understand they were going to put him in prison for 700 years, right? They were going to bankrupt him. They're going to destroy his family. What did he do? He came back in 47 days and said, I'm in. Are you in? Right? When they tried to shoot him, when they tried to assassinate him, and he was on the ground right there, they could have crawled off like any other politician in the world. What did he do? He got up. And what did he say? What did he say? I can't hear you. Are you prepared to fight for Trump? Are you prepared to fight for this republic? Are you prepared to fight for this country? The hardest, toughest days are ahead, folks, but you know what? Riyadh, Berlin, Beijing, Moscow, the city of London, right here. This is not beatable. You can't, the only way we lose is if we quit. The only way we don't have victory if we surrender. The only way that they win is we retreat. And we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight.
Right there.
Amen. God bless you. You are amazing. You've honored every patriot in this country, every patriot grave. You've honored them through your agency. This is all you.
So you saw it. Let's back it up and rewind that. You can decide for yourself. Let's bring it back.
Here on this very stage, we're going to win. We're going to win the primary.
Let's see. Let me.
To the other side, you know that. You're not asking for a handout. You're not asking.
Let me cue it up for you on another format. And you can assess. Here we go. So, yeah, a lot of people upset about this. Bannon says it was just a wave. Here we go. Shorter clips so we can run it again. Here we go.
Only way that they win is we retreat, and we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight. The only way that they win is we retreat, and we're not going to retreat. We're not going to surrender. We're not going to quit. Fight, fight, fight.
Comments in the chat? Trumpinator. You lunatics see Nazis everywhere. Well, would that be inaccurate? Isabel says, yep, there's the salute. Yeah. Patty says, this is pretty weak, Rick. Instead of talking about Bannon's message, making up fake hand gestures to obsess on it is weak. Okay. Hey, man, it's like just making headlines all around the world. It's news. Deal with it. Deborah. Maria, don't believe everything you see and hear. Make up your own mind. Yeah. And you guys can. You can make up your own mind. Tanver says, Hitler saw that. LOL. And Patty says, he's waving. You are out of your mind. Merrick says, I don't think it's a salute. Wouldn't quite say it's a wave. More like an acknowledgement. And Isabel says, that was no wave. And Maria says Steve Bannon is a zealot for Trump. And Peter says it's a mindset, Rick, not a physical request. Steve Robitaille. It's back, baby. And Antonio, my friend, says the Fourth Industrial Revolution, as they call it, in my view, is a contribution of the Third Reich. And Kitty, that's no Nazi salute. You people here are too young to know what the real salute looks like. I'm going to check in the Rumble chat, see if the crowd over there is talking about this. Johnny, flying the Canadian flag now. And there's Stoic Teacher. Hello, Stoic Teacher. And Stoic Teacher says, without doubt, that gesture is clear. And Norfa, a sloppy salute. And Johnny says one finger salute would be better. Okay. So, a range of opinions there. And No Worries says, I can, what's he saying? Or he or she? Ricky Walker, you can adopt me, then you can be my daddy. Right. And Kevin Bullock says, how long do you have to hold that pose? I don't know how long you have to keep your arm extended to make it official. I will say this, regardless of whether he meant to do it or not, I guarantee you have neo-Nazis out there tonight celebrating and using it to further normalize the use of said Nazi salute in our society, just as they did with Elon Musk, who also extended his arm, not just once, and then it was used to promote it within groups that want to use it and are using it, and to normalize its use. And in that way it is dangerous. And I would think that someone like Bannon, if he doesn't know better, he should know better. He should know enough to be more careful. So it makes it a little more difficult for me to accept that what he did was not intentional, especially coming off the back end of Elon Musk's controversial use of the extended arm, which he says was not a Nazi salute, but looked like maybe it could be one. Well, you guys can assess for yourself. It's, again, you know, to me, what Musk did, again, he should know better. And I think he does. They both do. And yet there it is. Did he extend it just as an impulse while he was speaking? Decide for yourself, I guess. We have a lot of other stories to cover tonight. Stay with me. I shall return.
Maverick News. Expose lies and tell truth. The world is watching.
So the Liberal leadership race has one candidate, or had one candidate, who was different than the others. I think probably some of you have taken note of Ruby Dalla. Well, she has portrayed herself as sort of a bridge candidate, somebody who might bring people on different sides together. Portrays herself as a sort of a liberal Donald Trump for Canada. Well, she's being kicked out of the Liberal leadership race now. The Liberal Party of Canada committee voted her out unanimously, disqualifying her. She says she's in violation of Liberal Party rules. She's facing 12 allegations, including accepting donations from a corporation in the form of payments to campaign staff. And she's accused of failing to disclose the involvement of a non-Canadian citizen in her campaign, which the party alleges amounts to foreign interference if it happened during an election period. And she's just been, I just find her a little bit weird because she just doesn't seem to fit the Liberal mold at all. And so the party is going to withhold $21,000 of hers in contributions to her campaign as it investigates whether 12 donors surpassed maximum contribution amounts. And this whole probe comes after Elections Canada published the donation data it received from the candidates up until February 9th. And it shows that 12 donations appearing under a tab called Statement of Contributions returned to contributors or remitted to the Chief Electoral Officer raised flags. And of the 12 names on the list, 3 pairs share the same last name and postal code, and all 12 of them have been recorded as having donated $1,750, the maximum amount permissible by law. So this story broke from CBC, Canada's state broadcaster, and Ruby Dalla is, not surprisingly, not happy about it, and was interviewed on CPAC, gave an interview over there. I was in contact with her campaign. I've been trying to get an interview set up with her. I did get one response back, but I was never able to get her on the program. I just find her to be kind of an interesting political figure, and certainly not a typical liberal, trying to sort of portray herself as a conservative liberal, so a blue liberal. In Canada, that would be a conservative liberal. Colors are kind of swapped around up here, red and blue. Blue is conservative and red is more liberal. Sort of opposite in the U.S., but that's the way it is here. So she's sort of a blue liberal, or so she says. Anyway, here's a clip from her CPAC interview today as she responds to and reacts to her, this decision by the party to kick her out of the leadership race.
So, as I said, the party says its questions had nothing to do with foreign interference. So I was wondering if you might clarify then what the questions were that was being asked of you.
It's internal party matters, so I cannot comment, but they did put forward a set of questions. We have given all of the requested information along with all of the supporting documentation that they requested. I was very shocked to read in the Globe this morning that there are these sources within the Liberal Party talking about foreign interference, and I can categorically say that it is completely false. It is unacceptable. I was born and raised here in Canada. I am running for the leadership of the Liberal Party of Canada and as Canada's next Prime Minister, and to insinuate because I am of Indian origin, because I am a woman of color from a multicultural community in Canada, to paint me with a brush of foreign interference as I'm running for one of the top leadership jobs of our country, it's simply unacceptable.
I hear what you are saying, but are you making that jump? Because they are, the Globe and Mail, citing two unnamed sources saying that there were concerns around foreign interference, but you're making the jump that it is because of your Indian heritage.
Well, I will certainly not allow, anyone who is seeking any type of elected office in our country who is from an immigrant community or a multicultural community or someone of color to be painted with this brush of foreign interference. It is unacceptable. I know that I am making history by being the first woman of color who is running, for the leadership and as Canada's Prime Minister. And it is very important that the integrity of the process never be compromised. But I just found it shocking because I have been born and raised here. I have dedicated my life to the party, to public service in Canada, and I have spent my time on the campaign talking about real results, talking about issues that impact so many Canadian families.
Okay, that's enough. I'm not dialed into the Liberal Party enough to know for sure, but as an outsider, a journalist looking in, I don't think it's about her skin color. I don't think it's about her culture. I don't think it's about her ethnicity. It's none of that. They don't like her because she doesn't fit the mold. They view her as some sort of a threat. I don't think they like her politics, her ideology. There's something else going on there that is not being presented to us in a public way. There's a lot more happening with that person than we know. And whatever it is, the people who really control the Liberal Party, they're afraid of her. Or they don't like her. It's the politics. It's nothing else. Something weird going on there. Maybe we'll find out more in time, or maybe she'll just fade away. She's been with the party a while. But it's just it's clear to me there's something else. What that something else is, I don't know. But what she's talking about, playing, just saying that it's racism or something, that's not it. That is not it. What else do we have for you here tonight? Oh, yes. Michelle Rempel-Gardner, conservative, meeting with journalists today in Ottawa. And the Conservatives are calling on the front runner in the Liberal leadership race, Mark Carney, to disclose his financial interests. Let me take you to Parliament Hill. And pick this up with Michelle. And here we go.
Leadership race on March 9th, Canada could face an unprecedented situation. A Prime Minister who has never held elected office and under a loophole in Canada's ethics laws may not have to disclose his financial assets prior to an election. This raises significant concerns about his potential to influence policy for personal enrichment at the expense of average Canadians, particularly when it comes to a company called Stripe. Mark Carney served as a board member of Stripe, a $65 billion Irish-American payment processor, while also acting as a senior economic advisor to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Right now, Stripe is widely speculated to be preparing for an initial public offering, or going public, potentially this year. Recent actions which show this, that investors have speculated on its IPO evidence, include the company's cutting 1,000 jobs about a couple of years ago, but even more recently, the company just shed another 300 jobs. And this is something that some analysts are saying could be evidence of the company leaning operations ahead of an initial public offering. At his campaign launch on January 16th, Carney announced his resignations from the board of Stripe, Brookfield, Bloomberg, and others. But notably, he didn't confirm whether or not he had divested his financial interests in these companies. It's standards for board members to receive stock options or shares. And the question that I have is whether or not Mark Carney received any from Stripe and whether or not he still holds those interests. A very large, right now the valuation of a potential Stripe IPO is somewhere in the neighborhood of $65 to $70 billion, could translate into substantial financial gain for somebody who holds certain financial instruments, as Mr. Carney potentially could. And also, Stripe, as a federally regulated financial services company in Canada, makes disclosure of his interests especially critical. So, Canadians deserve a straightforward answer. Does Mark Carney still hold any stake in Stripe? Now, just to explain the loophole that I've mentioned. Under Canada's Conflict of Interest Act, public office holders have 60 days to file disclosures and 120 days to finalize them after assuming office. If Carney wins the leadership and then quickly calls an election, it's conceivable that he wouldn't have to disclose his financial interests, such as the one in Stripe, until after an election. And again, this is a situation that the law didn't anticipate. An unelected person who had significant corporate board interests becoming prime minister and then not disclosing his interests ahead of a federal election. There's another issue with Stripe as well, too. Earlier this year, Visa and MasterCard reduced interchange fees, promising Canadian small businesses $1 billion in savings over 5 years. Stripe, however, retained some of these savings from small business clients. They held it back. In late 2024, former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland pledged policy action to ensure that payment processors, particularly Stripe, would be mandated to pass along savings to small businesses. Yet, Mark Carney has been curiously silent on this issue, and because Parliament is prorogued and committee hearings that were looking at this issue can't continue, these savings have not been passed along to small businesses. The other thing is that because these savings are not being passed along to small businesses and are being retained by Stripe, it could help inflate its value ahead of a potential IPO. So today, Conservatives are calling upon the following. For Mark Carney to disclose all of his corporate interests, not just in Stripe. I firmly think that Canadians, anybody seeking to lead this country, need to live above the letter of the law and with the spirit of the law, which he's not doing by not disclosing his assets. And we're also calling upon him to speak out and call upon Stripe to pass these interchange fee savings to small businesses, particularly as every Canadian business requires everything that we can possibly do to help them get ahead under the threat of American tariffs. Thank you.
Is your party going to defund the CBC?
Our party has been very clear on that issue. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has made multiple statements that he would like to defund the CBC while maintaining a strong journalism environment in Canada.
Pourriez-vous clarifier qu'est-ce que ça veut dire?
En anglais, s'il vous plaît. Pardon.
What does it mean to defund the CBC?
Is it a part? Is it totally? What it means?
Again, our party leader has been very clear about this, that he will defund the CBC. Thank you.
The rally, though, I mean, he hasn't been as clear in the last week.
Multiple times, Pierre Poilievre has been very clear that he will defund the CBC.
Gardner, is that fair for President Trump to penalize Canada for having a digital services tax?
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has been very clear with our party's plan to ensure that Canada is put first in light of the threat of American tariffs. That includes a plan to secure our borders as well as to bolster Canadian businesses.
That's specifically, what do you think about that?
Again, Conservatives, we don't like a lot of the taxes that the Liberals have put in place. In fact, our primary platform has been axe the tax. So anything that Conservatives can do to make businesses more competitive in Canada, that's something that would be under our Canada First plan. Thank you.
One would argue that that tax, for example, is actually a disincentive to Canadian companies doing the same thing than American companies. And the American companies coming in Canada should pay at least a certain level of taxes that Canadian companies are paying. So do you
Again, Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre has been very clear that we'll put Canada first in any situation or scenario involving American tax. Thank you. Yes.
Ms. Rempel-Garner, I want to ask you about something Stephen Harper wrote in a newspaper this week, saying that Canada's focus should not be on pursuing deeper economic and security partnerships with the United States, and that we must avoid further dependency on the United States. I'm wondering what you think of that. Do you agree with that?
I read former Prime Minister Stephen Harper's op-ed in the Globe yesterday, and I found that he actually echoed a lot of the sentiments that Conservative Party party leader, Pierre Poilievre, has already put out with regard to. Again, though, our party leader has been very clear that we would put forward, and we have put forward, again, very strong set of policies to secure our borders, to make Canadian businesses more competitive, and to make Canada more economically competitive as a whole. So, but I will say this, who isn't commenting on these things, who hasn't talked to you guys at all, is the press gallery? Mark Carney. It'd be great if he did that this week, too.
This message your party is sending that Canada is broken, do you think it's resonating with Canadians, given the fact we're seeing this rising nationalist feeling?
I've had the opportunity to door knock in some of the frigid weather that we've had across this country over the last several weeks. And as our party leader, Pierre Poilievre, has said in interviews on this topic this week, it is perfectly permissible, not just permissible, but necessary to address the systemic issues that the Liberals have caused in Canada that are causing people a lot of pain and a lot of harm. People can't afford groceries. That's one of the number one things that I get in my inbox in my constituencies, that they can't afford to eat or pay their rent. There's many systems in our country that just aren't delivering what they're supposed to do. Our federal deficit is out of control. These are all problems that need to be addressed. They shouldn't be glossed over. And I understand why Liberals like Mark Carney are trying to gloss over that fact, because they want Canadians to forget the pain and destruction that this government has caused them. So we're doing something far different than the Liberals are doing. First of all, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is going out and acknowledging the pain and destruction that the Liberals have caused, like the suffering on our streets due to the fentanyl crisis, like the housing affordability crisis. But the other thing that he's doing is he's coming out with tangible policy, like our Canada First plan. Meanwhile, you've got Mark Carney coming out spewing some sort of gobbledygook about spending more and investing spending. So, I think that acknowledging the fact that the Liberals have caused Canadians suffering and coming up with a firm plan to achieve that is something that we will continue to do, and I'm proud of our party leader for doing that. Thank you. Thank you.
And that's that. And just for the record, I do not like Stripe. I had a really bad experience with Stripe, with my business, and I won't use them again. They just so you know, they took money from me, and it was, what they did was, in my view, illegal. It wasn't enough money for me to sue them over, but it was for a transaction that it was complicated. In the end, they just kept the money. How much was that for? I think we were talking about $150. I would never use that company. Anyway, that's me. Enough whining from my perspective. If you guys would please indulge me and subscribe to our other YouTube channel, and even go over and watch on that channel, it would be extremely helpful, because that's a different channel that I am trying to build up. It doesn't have nearly as many subscribers, but we're starting to get a few viewers on it, and it's a healthy channel. We might even be able to monetize it, and it's my response to what is kind of going on with our experience with YouTube, where they are really suppressing the main channel, and have been for a long time. If I can kind of push everybody over to the other YouTube channel, which I've now been able to reestablish, it would be very helpful. So I put the link in the description. I'll put it in again, in the chat. And if you haven't subscribed over there yet, it would be extremely helpful if you could. And there it is. And if you go watch over there, even better. And eventually what I'd like to do is retire the main YouTube channel and just keep it as the backup. If I can just get people to go over and watch on the other channel, that would be fantastic. But we have to get the numbers up. So please like, share, subscribe. And thank you so much to everybody who has been helping and donating. A couple of you have done that, so really, really appreciate that. You can donate at rw581@aol.com. You can e-transfer to that email address, or you can donate at freedomreporters.com. If you do use the e-transfer, you have to complete the security question. Otherwise, we can't proceed with any deposits because it goes into a business account so that we can file our taxes and do all of those things that are required by law. So we pay our taxes. And yeah, and if you are also in a position to help us out, because we do need assistance as we get near the end of the month here. Got to pay these bills, and you can donate at freedomreporters.com. So please like, share, subscribe as well. Make sure you hit the thumbs up too. That would be really helpful, and I hope we've earned the thumbs up as we continue our broadcast tonight. Please also make sure you hit the notification bell if you do subscribe on either of the two YouTube channels. That way you will receive a notification when we publish new videos. And that's pretty important. If you're a subscriber, then you know what's going on. Yeah, I still see comments coming in about whether that was a Nazi salute or not from Steve Bannon. A variety of opinions. Okay, Kash Patel. Pretty strong language coming from him. Words of warning tonight after he was confirmed as the new FBI director. He stepped up and gave this speech. Let's go to him and check this out.
First and foremost, we were just with President Trump, and I just want to thank him. I know he's not here in the room right now, but what a ride we have been on, what a courageous warrior and leader he has been, and the faith and trust he has put in me to lead the FBI is the greatest honor that I'll ever have in my life. And to General Bondi, that sounds pretty freaking cool. Pam, you're my sister, you're my mentor, you're my friend, you're my boss, and the confidence you have placed in me, I will never violate that trust. The men and women of the FBI will be led under your leadership through one standard, the Constitution. So thank you for entrusting me, Pam. Oh man, this is effing crazy. So obviously you don't get here alone. You know, I'm here because of God. I'm here because of my family, and I'm here because of my friends, and you're literally in this room because you made it happen. My sister, Nisha, and my nephew, Aryan, flew in from London just to be here. My beautiful girlfriend, Alexis, is here. Yes, I agree. My aunts and uncles are here. They've come from all over the country. I am living the American dream. And anyone that thinks the American dream is dead, just look right here. You're talking to a first-generation Indian kid who's about to lead the law enforcement community, the greatest nation on God's green earth. That can't happen anywhere else. To the senators and the men and women of the United States House of Representatives, you placed an enormous trust in me, an enormous leap of faith. One that I didn't know that I could possibly earn back, but I'm going to spend every single day on this job doing so. The fact that you placed the confidence you did in me has inspired me to reach new heights at this job. I promise you the following. There will be accountability within the FBI and outside of the FBI, and we will do it through rigorous constitutional oversight starting this weekend. This is great. We all used to live in the same freaking house. Yeah, I don't have any prepared remarks. I wish I could go around the room and, tell the story about how each and every one of you have magically touched my life to put me in this position. What a roller coaster ride it has been. I do know this. We are in this room together because you guys have a love of country that is truly inspirational. and it bleeds out everywhere we go. And if you look around this room, you see civil servants, you see warriors, you see attorneys, you see great husbands and fathers and mothers and wives. And we're fighting for the same thing, our future, our children, this guy. And there is no greater mission. I wish I had more words to thank every single one of you, but every time I look at every single one of you, you guys know the stories you can't tell. More importantly, the ones you can. You know, this is, Pam and I were just talking in the back, and we were like, do you believe this? Like, you know, we were on the campaign trail together, we were attorneys in the first administration together. Now we're here. She's the Attorney General. I'm the Director of the FBI. Like, this is insane. And I don't really fully believe it yet. I hope to. But I'm just not here without you guys. And look, I know the media's in here. And if you have a target, that target's right here. It's not the men and women at the FBI. You've written everything you possibly can about me that's fake, malicious, slanderous, and defamatory. Keep it coming. Bring it on. But leave the men and women of the FBI out of it. They deserve better. And for those of you who think that there's going to be a two-tier system of justice, not with Attorney General Bondi. There's a singular system of justice for all Americans, and there will be accountability. And the reason that this mission is so important is simply the following. 100,000 people last year raped. 100,000 people died of CCP fentanyl overdose and heroin. 17,000 homicides. Violent crime is out of control. We cannot have a United States of America where that is acceptable, where someone dies every 30 minutes, where someone ODs every 7, where someone's raped every 6. That cannot be allowed to continue, and it will not be allowed to continue. Our national security mission is equally as important. Anyone that wishes to do harm to our way of life and our citizens here or abroad will face the full wrath of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And if you seek to hide in any corner of this country or any corner of this planet, we will put on the world's largest manhunt, and we will find you, and we will decide your end state, not you. We will uphold the Constitution. We will uphold ourselves to the Constitution. The men and women at the FBI, I have your back because you have the backs of the American people. You will be held to the same high standard. Any deviation from that standard will not be tolerated at this Federal Bureau of Investigation. The men and women at the FBI who make us safe deserve better, and they are going to get it with our leadership and your support. God bless America, and God bless every one of you. I love this country.
So there's Kash Patel, and it's official. So a federal judge has now paved the way for Donald Trump and his administration to push ahead with removing thousands of U.S. Agency for International Development workers from their jobs. This coming from U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols, who denied a request from labor groups who wanted to issue a preliminary injunction after the Trump administration said that thousands of USAID employees would be placed on administrative leave and ordered agency personnel abroad to return to the U.S. within 30 days. So this clears the way for Trump to pursue his goals there. And in I think a development that probably is of great interest to many people here, the attorney, or one of the attorneys representing Sean Diddy Coombs in that sex trafficking case, has announced that he is stepping down as counsel. The attorney's name is Anthony Rico, and he filed a motion in New York City court, and he says that under no circumstances, this is his words, Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs. He didn't give an explanation as to why, but he said it would not affect the trial date, which is set for May 5th. The lawyer was retained by Combs back in September and has not so far given any other statements to media. And of course, we all know what the charges surrounding P. Diddy is all about. He's 55 years old. I didn't realize he was that old, but he is. And he's been hit with like over 30 different civil lawsuits accusing him of sexual assault, misconduct over many decades, and this federal indictment alleges that Combs orchestrated and recorded coerced sex, forced sex acts. And these parties that those who attended said were called freak-offs. And also tonight, President Trump has fired Air Force General C.Q. Brown as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This guy is a one-time fighter pilot. Yeah. Significant figure, and he's gone. Wow. So Trump says that he's nominating Air Force Lieutenant General Dan Razin Kane to become the next chairman. Kane is a career F-16 pilot who served on active duty, and in the National Guard, and has most recently served as the Associate Director for Military Affairs at the CIA. So lots of changes happening. He's out there purging. As I say, I think DOGE is in many ways, it should be renamed the Department of Getting Even. And speaking of getting even, well, I don't know if this is about getting even, but it's about getting out of jail with a get out of jail free card from Donald Trump. But the former leader of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, yeah, he was let out of jail, but today he was arrested and charged for assault outside the U.S. Capitol. He was granted clemency by President Trump last month. And now today had some sort of a run-in with a protester on Capitol Hill. I guess he was handcuffed, searched, put in a police van by U.S. Capitol Police. He was there with several other members of the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers for some sort of a press conference. And police say he was charged with assault. Happened around 2:30 Eastern Time this afternoon. Never a dull moment. So we'll kind of follow that a little bit over the next day or so too. See how that plays out. And that gets us down here to the bottom of the hour. So I'll tell you what, I know that some of you maybe want to weigh in on the conversation tonight, so we might take a few phone calls. Let me get the system set up here. And I'll run the promo to let you guys know how you can call in and join the conversation tonight. And here it is. Call now. Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Exercise your right to free speech. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Call 1-647-734-4220. Then enter the PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound sign. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, and yes, you can call and join the conversation right now at 1-647-734-4220, and when prompted, punch in the meeting PIN number 860-075-764, followed by the pound or number sign. And I have to say thank you to everybody that went over and joined the broadcast on the other YouTube channel. Thank you for doing that. Very nice of you. I appreciate it. 1-647-734-4220. And it'll prompt you if you haven't called in before. It's quite simple. The system will prompt you to enter the PIN number. I'll leave it up on the screen so you can see what the number is, and then you just punch it in, and I will admit you to the broadcast. What else do we have happening here tonight? We had a couple of other things that I wanted to touch on. If you want to talk about that hockey game, we can do that. As I said at the beginning, I think it was about a lot more than just hockey last night. It was about national pride. In the face of these threats, I would call them threats from Donald Trump, maybe a promise. And Trump going to town on Zelensky. This is a clip. It's actually this clip was running over on Sputnik, but obviously this didn't come straight from Russia, so I'm not sure where the original source was on it. Well, maybe I better not run that because I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the age of it either. So let me just. I had it queued, but I'm not going to run it because I'm not sure about it. Don't like the source. I will say this, though, you're seeing quite a number of people pivoting on the whole, they're pivoting on the United States. As much as Trump says that the United States is respected again around the world, I don't know about that. And I'm not even sure how these peace talks are going to play out, because what I'm seeing, and you're not hearing it too much on the U.S. side, is Europe. Zelensky has done a pretty skillful job, I would say, of playing politics, kind of just stepping away from Trump and going over and aligning himself more with European leaders, because it's pretty clear that there's no love lost at this point between Zelensky and Donald Trump. And it goes back to, Trump's phone call and when the first time he was in office, and he wanted Zelensky to essentially do some things that he really couldn't do, because I think it might have even violated Ukrainian law at the time. He wanted Zelensky to cough up dirt on Joe Biden and his son Hunter. And I don't think that Zelensky could really honestly do it. It was that's what prompted, the impeachment efforts. And if Zelensky had done that, that would have in itself been maybe compromising for Zelensky within Ukraine, because he would have been caving to political pressure from a U.S. president to spill dirt or even go find dirt or whatever. But it's against Trump's political opponent. And people can look at it the other way too. But I think Zelensky was really trying to avoid getting in the middle of power politics being played out between two major heavyweight political figures, Biden and Trump. So, yeah. Anyway, I need to take a little break here while we wait for the first phone calls to come in. And again, the number to call, 1-647-734-4220. I shall return.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, free speech. Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, I'm back. And just let me check the phone system here. Yeah, still no phone calls coming in. That's okay. And I am getting ready for Maverick Midnight Matinee tonight, which will be on at 10 p.m. Eastern. We didn't have a program last week, but we're going to do a program tonight. So get your popcorn popping. Now, also tonight we have the in financial news, the Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem says the shock from U.S. tariffs would be a lot different from the economic downturn that we experienced during the COVID pandemic. He says that if these tariffs go ahead, Canada won't just bounce back like it did before. He says, in fact, this whole thing could have long-term, maybe even permanent damage to Canada's economy. Oh my goodness, where are we going here? So, words of warning on that front tonight. And we're seeing also tonight that the Ontario Conservatives are slipping a little bit in the polls, as Ontarians prepare to go to the ballot box and cast votes in the upcoming provincial election. It's not a done deal. The Liberals are hammering on Ford, and we're also seeing that Doug Ford and Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston have been down in Washington looking to build allies among state governors. This because the tariffs from Trump are looming, just days away now. So they're down there trying to find support from U.S. governors, as they should. And yeah, we're seeing here in Canada politicians, political leaders saying, yeah, the time has come for Canada to realign its alliances and get away from being so dependent on the U.S. Yeah, we're going to have to look at doing more, I think, with Europe over the long haul. Let me just go to the chat and see what's going on over there. Seize the day. Thank you very, very much for the $5 Rumble Rant. And again, thank you to the Cron, too, for your support over there on the Rumble Rants tonight with your $2 donation. So grateful. Thank you. What do we have going on over here? And okay, so Belovely says, why did I put up the YouTube link? I just need to build that other YouTube channel to fortify what we're doing online, because the other channel, the main one, is it's just under constant suppression from YouTube, and like they're like literally taking away our subscribers every day. They're taking them. It's not organic. YouTube is taking them from us. Okay, we have our first caller of the night on the line. Let's go to the phones. One moment while I get this up on the screen, and here we go. Who do we have on the line tonight? Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hello, who's this?
It's Leo.
Leo, welcome back.
Yeah. You put up another channel, and you know what? I'm allowed to chat in it.
Well, there you go.
There you go. There's a lot of people in there that I haven't seen anyways or heard from. But it's very nice to see everybody still around. Everybody's still alive.
Nice.
Everybody's still breathing.
And it's nice to hear your voice.
And you know what? The tariffs are coming, guys. Okay, we're not getting out of this one. But honestly, I'm very busy at work, Rick. Very busy. 75 hours a week.
Oh, man.
Okay. Yeah. And I've never seen anything like it in my life. We got so much work here. It's sickening. Right?
Why is that? Are they trying to get ahead of the tariffs? Is that why?
No. Well, you're not going to get ahead of the tariffs because it's weird because tool and mold, tool and die. Okay, it's going to affect the auto industry, no doubt about it. But we're not cutting tools for next week's projects. We're cutting tools for 2027, 2028. Okay, we're ahead. We're years ahead of the ball game, right? That's just the way the industry works, right?
Yeah.
So the poor saps on the line at General Motors, Fords, and Chryslers are going to be the ones to be affected, and all the feeder plants down here in our area, Windsor, Essex, Kent, that area. Okay, a lot of people are going to be hurting. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Because it's not a skilled trade what they do. Okay, if you're on the line at Fords, Chryslers, or GM, okay, you got one job and that's your job, and you put a bolt in the hole, you screw it in, whatever, right? And it's mainly robotics that are taking care of it. So if you don't have a skilled trade in your back pocket, and I'm not saying in the big three, you can't build houses. Okay, you can't do this, you can't do that. You're going to be screwed, right? And a lot of people are caught in that. What would we call it? What's a fancy word? Quagmire.
Yeah.
Okay, you're caught in that quagmire where you can't do anything else but what you're doing, right? You've been doing it for 30 years, and it's like, wow, I feel sorry for a lot of people, really. You're not a plumber, you're not a roofer, Money's what makes the world go round, buddy. Right? In the same sense too. Okay, people are going to lose their marbles, right? Very, very, very soon. Okay, you know, you got guys with high mortgages, very high mortgages. Now, I, you know, on the line at Chrysler's or your skilled trades in this area, you make about $6,000 to $7,000 a month take home. Okay, that's your take home every month. If you're going to work the hours, you can make that kind of money, no problem, right? Now, what happens when the government comes in, you lose your job? Okay, 3 months later, you're behind on your mortgage. Your bank's banging down the door. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose that new car that the government's saying, hurry up, buy a car because there's tariffs coming. How are you going to pay for that car? Okay, by the way, people are going to lose their marbles. And they're going to put all that towards who? The government that put them there, and that's the Liberal government of Canada. And the Conservatives had a hand in it. They all did. You know, present and past governments, okay, have had a hand in why Canada is the way it is today, right? I don't want to see Canada become the 51st, but I don't want to starve either.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I don't, you know, I'm of the opinion that we have to stand strong on this, and there are ways to combat it. And I don't think that Trump is in as strong a position as he thinks he is. I think all this is going to backfire on him because of the way tariffs ultimately work. And we're going to have to see how it plays out over time. But what he's going to do, what he is doing, is going to be incredibly disruptive, destructive, not just for us, but even for the United States. It's not going to work out the way that he thinks. And
I don't know his game plan. I don't know his game plan, Rick, but he's cornering himself, okay? He's cornering the United States of America because Canada could pick up trade partners in Mexico. We already have something on the table with them. Okay, in Asia and Europe and everywhere else, right? And vice versa, because if he's going to stab Canada in the back, who's next?
He's already,
we'll get oil from Venezuela, but how long is it going to be before he stabs Venezuela in the back?
Well, look, man, like Mexico, Canada together, it's that's over 40% of all the goods that flow into the United States, just Canada and Mexico together. So as we enter into these USMCA renegotiations, Canada and US, or Canada and Mexico together, standing up to the United States, there's a lot more clout there, a lot more power than people realize. Canada alone, yeah, we're not big enough to really hold sway against the U.S. economically, but in alliance with other trading partners and Europe, it's pretty major, and he's pissed everybody off. So he better be careful because this could easily backfire on him.
It could backfire on him. It could really backfire on Canada. And like I say, the Liberal government's to blame, the Conservative government's to blame. Okay, our present government and our past. Okay, we're talking not just all of them, Mulroney, right down to Pierre Elliott Trudeau's days. Okay, this has been happening for a long time. Okay, they should have not put all their ducks, okay, in one spot. Okay, and for trading. We should have been on the world market a long time ago, but pressure from the United States, nobody could stand up to it, right? So, you know,
that's why
they were afraid to.
I agree with you, but that's why I'm not being so critical and harsh when it comes to Canada, our past politicians, everything that's happened. It's because of the pressure from the United States and our trust in them. That's why we're also in this position. And nobody had the foresight to see this coming. Who would have ever predicted this like 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago?
Not even in my lifetime, okay? And I'm 55 years old. I never predicted it. People dreamed about it. Let's merge into one big nation, right? That was a dream. It's a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. You know, we'll be the next Ukraine before that happens, and that's what I'm afraid of. Okay, I don't want to see us go down the same pipe as Ukraine, and in the end, what's really happening in Ukraine? Well, it's going to be a stalemate, okay, and everybody's going to go their own separate ways, and at the end, you got 1 million dead people. I don't want to see that happen, especially here in Canada, right?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure we can avoid that, but at the same time, I do see a lot of similarities, parallels between what happened and what's happening here.
Hey, we know why Russia's in Ukraine, period. It's not because of the Nazis and this and that. It's because what's there? The minerals in the ground.
Yep.
And that's the only reason they're there, right? So
Yep.
if there was nothing there and it was barren sand, desert, whatever, there would be no battle in Ukraine, period.
I agree
It
with
wouldn't
that.
be worth the while.
Yep.
Right.
That's right.
It's all about dollars and cents, Rick.
Yep.
Right. And
Yep.
it disgusts me, actually. It does. Really, it does. But what Trump's ultimately trying to do is starve out Canada. Okay. He's going to starve us into submission to fall to our knees and beg for fucking mercy or whatever you want. Okay. Some people will, some people won't. Some people are going to stand up and fight, right? If you're out there and you're listening to what I'm saying, okay, hold on to what you got, okay, and start banking. Don't go to fast food joints and start spending money wildly because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Times are going to be rough, and times are going to be hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just, I'm also thinking that, well, there's going to be some real pain. I think Donald Trump is in for a rude awakening because all these countries that he's going up against, they're not going to. People aren't just going to roll over and die. We're all going to adapt, and we'll find ways to survive. It's just going to take some time to make changes.
Well, it's easy to adopt, okay? When you got the government throwing money into these battery plants and everything else, why wouldn't they just throw, let's say, $20 billion? It's a lot of money, but into a Canadian auto, industry that makes cars for who? For Canada. And if we want to export them to whoever wants them, take them, right? A reliable vehicle here in Canada. We have the technology, we have the manpower, we got the skilled trades, okay?
Yeah.
To do it.
Well,
right?
Yeah, you're right. It's just that we won't have the range of models available in our market.
Call it the KNOX.
But that's okay.
Right.
Maybe just fewer models, but Canadian made, and maybe we can export to other countries. Why not?
Right. Call it the Canuck Mobile, whatever you want to call it, right?
I like that.
But 100% made, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like I support, like a lot of people, you don't support Canada. You show me what's made in Canada. And I'm going to tell you what's made in Canada because I'm going to do a video, okay? And I get a lot of traction when I'm doing here on Facebook and a little bit on YouTube too, right? But my wife for Valentine's Day bought me man-made underwears. You've seen the commercials before, right? 100% Canadian made, right?
I've never seen that. I'm not aware.
Oh, you never seen those? Well, you got to look them up. Okay, look it up on YouTube and you'll see it. Man-made underwears. The guy's jumping out of the plane at 220 mile an hour. He's in his underwears, right? It's a great video. 100% Canadian made. Well, she bought me a couple pairs for Valentine's Day. I haven't tried them on yet. They're actually pretty cool looking.
Okay.
Right. It's got a satchel it's got a satchel in the front for what you need, right? And they stay on at 220 kilometers an hour, right? But she bought me 2 pairs of these things. They came to $45 Canadian. And you know what? I don't mind paying $45, for 2 pairs, whatever, right? Yeah, it sounds a little bit expensive, but it's Canadian made by Canadian people. Now, I could get behind that all day long. I can't get behind people that are selling Canadian flags that are made in India or China.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
they are.
Yeah, I know. Is the underwear fur lined? To withstand minus, sub-zero Canadian temperatures.
Put the video on. Show people. It's called Canadian or man-made.
Where do I find this?
Underwear.
Is it on YouTube?
It'll be on YouTube all over the place. There's a couple of Canadian guys that started out an underwear business, right? And, I thought it was pretty funny. We watch it. We watch the commercials all the time. And my wife said, "I'm going to get you a couple." But I laughed, right, when she showed me, right. But then my Valentine's Day gift, when I opened it up, guess what it was? Awesome. Right.
It's interesting, the textile industry, the clothing industry in Canada, basically left the country decades ago because of foreign competition from places like Vietnam, Taiwan, wherever at any particular time.
And it's a sin. It's a sin because we let in all these immigrants, okay? And there's a lot of great people that we let into this country that could build us, okay? The textile business, okay, clothing and everything else, because, this is what they did in their home countries, right? And I don't know why we're not doing it, really. You want to be Canadian, start thinking Canadian, start making shit that's really Canadian. Okay, and not be putting, made in China, but we're going to put a Canadian sticker on it. You know, I know businesses out there. I got friends that own businesses, okay, and they're all buy Canadian, this and that. And I said, and I walk in their store, I said, 3/4 of this shit, you imported it from China, in India. How can you say buy Canadian? Get rid of all your shit out of your store and go Canadian if that's what you're going to do. Don't sit there, okay, because to me, you're a greedy bastard. Okay, and you're trying to get people play with their heartstrings, okay, and buy Canadian. Come on down here, everything in our store is Canadian. When I know damn well it's not.
Here's I don't know. I have no idea what this video is going to be like, and hopefully we don't get hit with copyright. But here we go.
Welcome to the Man-Made YouTube channel. So we're 4 friends that had the common goal of wanting to improve men's lives by providing them with quality essentials they need without the BS. So we quit our corporate jobs and began building Man-Made. All 4 of us had finance backgrounds. Berto, for example, was a CPA at one of the big 4 firms. Anthony was a private banker at one of the big 6 banks in Canada. And Phil was in banking and real estate at one of the top banks. And I was an investment wholesaler at one of the banks in Canada. We all dove completely headfirst in a new industry. We started off by creating the perfect pair of boxer briefs, and have since expanded into new products such as t-shirts, socks, and soap. Best of all, we've been documenting everything, so make sure to click the subscribe button and follow as we grow.
Okay. My real question, Leo, is are you gonna like model the underwear for us?
You know what? I ran it by the wife because I'd like to put on a pair with my cat snow boots and get out there and shovel what snow we have left, right in a pair of them.
That would be funny.
And she said, "You do that, you'll be looking for another place to live."
Yeah. Somebody else called in here.
I invite you to come to my driveway and take away the snow, Leo.
In a pair of them? do you see the front of them? How they got the satchel for your goods? I can't wait to try them on. Actually, really, I want to see how they fit. But
by the way,
I could shovel at 200.
Leo.
I could shovel at 220 mile an hour, and those will stay on.
Well, that get you out there in a 200-mile-an-hour wind, or strap you to the roof of a race car and see if the underwear comes off.
But it's awesome, okay, and that's what we got to get back to. If we're going to be Canadian, Rick, okay, you know that's a Canadian video all day long.
Sure,
that's like Bob and Doug McKenzie, okay. That's Canadian. That's FCTV. That's Canadian.
Are they price competitive? Right. Do you know what they
like? I said, it was $45 with shipping for 2 pairs, and they sent a nice card in the to my wife, thanking her and everything else, right? So they're appreciative of the business that they're getting. But it's a little, I could get what's a pair of underwear costing nowadays? $5, $10, whatever, right? Boxers, decent boxers. I got Calvin Klein. Okay, Calvin Klein's going to run you $25 a pair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, they're I got all kinds of Calvin Klein. So I don't know what you paid for that. I'm just guessing $25 a pair, right?
Yeah.
But the material looks good. I was laughing. I'm going to do a video. I'll do a video of them, but I don't know if we're going to model them.
And did you watch the hockey game? Did you watch the hockey game?
Yes, I'm at work and I was watching that hockey game. And I'm really happy that Connor McDavid, okay, in the overtime, the way he came out in that game, the speed of that guy, okay, I was just amazed. You're in overtime, you should be somewhat tired. This guy here, he's a bullet, okay, and I knew it. I was telling buddies at work, I said, Connor McDavid's going to score that goal, watch. And then when Mitch Marner passed it to him, right, perfect. Yeah. Now, back to the economy, and this is what can happen, okay? I don't know how he's going to do it, Donald Trump, but he says he's going to get rid of income tax. If he gets rid of income tax, you know what that means to Canadian sports?
All the athletes are going down there.
They are. Why would you pay 40% tax, income tax over here? So that'll wipe out any professional sports that we really have in Canada. It's going to wipe out a lot of talent. especially the business I'm in, we're American owned. Okay, and we got Wisconsin, Michigan, right down into Mexico, right? If they pull out of Mexico, pull out of Canada, and just keep the U.S. businesses going, 90% of the workers here are going over to Michigan.
Yeah, but in everything I know from everything I studied, in university economics, what he's doing, it's not going to work. And he might get rid of income tax, but people are going to be paying way more for everything.
Yeah. What do you think of Elon Musk?
I don't trust him at all.
I think he's an idiot. Yeah. I think he's an idiot. Okay, he's a village idiot, actually, right? And you got him in charge of Dodge or whatever. I got them coins, by the way, and they're still up. They're down, but they're up for me, right? Because I bought them when they came out. But he wants to go to Fort Knox and take a look at the gold count, right? And it kind of reminds me of Geraldo Rivera when he went to Al Capone's vault in Chicago.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And they had the whole world. Yeah. The whole world was watching. Okay, I mean the whole world, man.
Yeah.
And that's 3.5 hours of my life I'll never get back.
Yeah,
because when they opened the vault, there was nothing there.
Yeah, I know. This is like reality television.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is. I'm skeptical now about the assassination attempt where he got it in the ear, and when you have Mahone, McMahon's wife from WWE. It's like something out of WWE what we're watching, right? So,
and even that photo, I mean, the photographer right there, just at the right time, and he stands up, and the American flag's right behind him. It's like you couldn't have staged it better. I know it was a made-for-TV moment, wasn't it?
Hey, so some people will call us conspiracy theorists, but you know what? All the conspiracies that people were saying that were conspiracies, okay, they all came true, right? Now, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about the C word on your new YouTube thing, but I'm not gonna. But you guys know where I'm going with it, right? And you guys were probably the first people out there to point me in that direction, that it was poison and what it was doing to society and everything else, the people that were hurt, okay? It was groups like Maverick and other groups out there that were putting it up. And even my wife, she's like, those are conspiracy theorists, this and that, right? Well, now guess who's right at the end? You guys were right the whole time. Okay, the podcasters out there that were exposing it all, right? The side effects and the long-term health effects in the coffins being closed.
Yeah, well, I think there's some balance there, I think. But anyway, Dragon, what were you calling in about?
Well, actually, I wanted to say hello to Leo real quick because it's been a while, and actually, I wanted him to say, to congratulate him to be back on the family. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I got lots of time on my hands, Dragon. I'm on house arrest. Since I haven't talked to you guys in a long time, many of the viewers out there that don't know but didn't know what I was going through anyway. So I ended up pleading guilty to the whole ball of wax, okay, and I was the only guy at the end of the day to get hung. Okay, I took the rap for the 12 co-accused because, you know what, I put them in that position. So as an activist and the leader of that movement that I was doing, it's only right for me to stand up and do what was right for everybody else. And I ended up getting 6 months house arrest, no fine. That started November 29th, and I'm done May 29th. So I'm halfway through it now, and I'm just burying myself in work, Rick. Really, I am. Like, I found a way to finally save money. And I was telling the guy at work, he goes, the hours you're working, this and that. I saved, just in the month, in 2 months, I put almost over $10,000 in my bank account that I've saved. Okay, that's in my savings account.
Yeah.
And at this rate, if I keep going, right, the guy at work says, you'll be able to save 40, 50 grand a year, okay, in the bank account, cash, right? So when I'm done, I'm going to send a nice letter to the judge because, you know what, she was compassionate enough anyways to see through all the bullshit and you know, what was right was right. So the only thing I'm allowed to do is go to work and go home. Sundays I'm allowed 4 hours for the necessities of life, and that's to go out and buy groceries and gas or whatever, right? But I'm happy with it, really I am, with the outcome, because now I get to come May 29th, I'm free of all chains, okay, that are tying me down, right? Like my wife, she's been to Vietnam, Costa Rica, Mexico, Jamaica since 2018, and guess where I've been? Nowhere, because I've been on bail, right? So I can't even take a rightful vacation anywhere, right? Yeah, I went to the East Coast and bought lobsters, but I'm not allowed to leave the country, right? So come May 29th, I'll be free, 100% free. The stipulations with it, if I mess up, let's say that I decide to stop for a Tim Hortons coffee, guess what? I go right to jail, no questions asked, and I got to stay there till May 29th. So if it happens today, I'd have to stay in jail till May 29th. If it happens May 20th, then I only got 9 days left, right? So,
well,
yeah.
Well, till then, keep
what's
yourself
that?
out of trouble, please.
Oh yeah, no. It's, I'm monitored not by an ankle bracelet, but I got a probation officer, and she's cool, really cool. Okay, and it was funny when I went into her office. She says, "What are you here for? What are your charges?" I just looked at her. She don't know who I am. She starts laughing. Right? Yeah, you're Leo. Everybody knows who I am, right? And she's not lenient. Yeah, crime's a crime. You got to pay, right? So, she's not lenient at all. If I need to go to a funeral, like I did last week, a friend of mine died, and I just wanted to show respect. She said, call me, and she'll send me the paperwork via text mail, right? So I can attend certain things. They just want to know where I'm going to be. Let's say I got to go do banking. I just can't go do banking, Rick, because if I'm in the bank and somebody comes in and robs it behind me, okay, guess who's going to jail? Probably not the guy robbing the bank because it's catch and release. It's me who's on house arrest because I'm not supposed to be in that bank, right? So I go to jail till the 29th of May.
Well, so the older you get, the faster time goes by. So, it's the light is there at the end of the tunnel for you. So I'm glad for that, for you.
Oh, at 75 hours a week, believe me, the time's flying by.
Yeah.
Right? And when I spend that many hours on the job, and guys are going, shit, you're in great shape. What am I going to do? I'm just going to go home and watch TV anyways, or cook Chinese food. So every Sunday I'm doing something very different in the kitchen, and I'll videotape whatever, right? Last week was Chinese food from scratch.
Yeah.
Okay, I went my necessities of life. I went to the Asian store. I bought the egg roll wraps. And then I went to Zares. I bought the ground chicken, everything that I need, right? The cabbage, the bean sprouts, and I made my own egg rolls, and they turned out bomb, right? The wife made General Tao's chicken, everything to a T to the ingredients. And you know what? Everybody that came over to eat, because you know what? I like to order Chinese food. And what I don't like about ordering Chinese food is that they only give you one damn egg roll with your meal. Okay, so I made 24 egg rolls, right? I like egg rolls, right? And so every week we're doing something like that, right? Seafood boils, whatever, keep myself occupied, right? And everybody comes over and they eat, and out the door they go, right? But the Chinese food is better than probably Harvey Lowe's, okay? And the Harvey Lowe's had a great restaurant in Windsor before he retired. And my Chinese food I'll put up against his any day of the week.
Well, so did you watch that hockey game, Dragon?
Actually, I did watch part of a replay, and mostly like the end of the last period. And actually, it was an amazing game because we did win after a barrage, as we called it. So
yeah,
that game could have went any way, Dragon.
It was good.
That game could have went any way. It was so close. It was so close, especially in that overtime. Well, you can't ask for a better championship between the U.S. and Canada in overtime.
Oh, yeah.
No, you cannot.
It was not a one-sided. Yeah, it was not a one-sided game. The only thing that was one-sided was that David, what's his face, McDavid. Okay, McDavid was I've been watching him since he entered the NHL, and I'm not an Oilers fan, but I am now. And I always, ever since he started playing with the Oilers, I've been watching him. Right, he's going to win a cup. That guy. and I hope he does in Edmonton. He's been there 10 years now, right? But that guy, I'll tell you, you people out there that are watching, you know who I'm talking about, like Don Cherry, you people, okay, that Connor McDavid is all that and a bag of chips. Okay, he's the Wayne Gretzky and Marty McSorley put together. He could hit, he could play.
Yeah.
Right, so, yeah.
And a very pretty goal to cap it all off, I'll say that.
It was. Certain people in life get to stand out like that. Wayne Gretzky was one of them. Okay, Connor McDavid, he's another one. What's his face? Kawhi from the Raptors, he's another guy, right? They get their moments. They're great players, okay, and they've been playing this way their whole life, right? So,
yeah,
that's not the first big goal that guy's ever scored, that's for sure. Right? He's been doing it his whole life.
Well,
right?
guys, let's wrap it up here tonight. I have to get ready for the Maverick Midnight Matinee at 10 in just a little less. I have a little less than an hour to do that. So give us some final thoughts. Leo, you first.
Well, I'm glad to I've called in. I'm glad that I wasn't, what would we say, blocked on that YouTube, because I just said something out there. I don't know what I said. I laughed at something you said anyways. And somebody said, "Hey, Leo." And I was like, shit, I'm not blocked. Right?
Well,
and,
I'm
so
glad you're here.
I'm here, so I'll watch periodically. I've been watching Wayne Peters. You know Wayne. He's got a great show. Shadow is a little bit out there, but Wayne, he's all about Canada, man. Right? I've been checking out his show, and it runs in around the same time slot as yours, right? 7 p.m.
Yeah, I don't watch him. So. Not really aware of what he's about. So
he's sort of like you, okay, with the media background, right? But he does not like America at all. Like, well, he don't like Trump. He likes American people, right? But yeah. Yeah, he's not a Trump supporter, right? So it is what it is. And then you got Shadow Davis. He's fucking, let's go, 51st state, right? He wants out.
Oh, well, that would be that would be what you call a traitor.
Well, you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah, I will. I'll call him a traitor then, if that's what he's saying. I don't watch him either, but if that's where he's at.
When you live on a border like us, okay, and people, oh, you're a traitor. Well, when you got family members that are fucking in the U.S. and are born in the U.S. and then the dual citizenship, it's mad, right? It's a madhouse down here in Windsor, where you got people that are fucking on the fence. Some people, fuck it, I'm going to, they want to become America. I'm never allowed to step into America, by the way, ever.
Yeah.
Right. So, would I step into America if we became America? Probably not. I could care less. I've always kept my money here in Canada, Rick. That's why I don't go on those vacations with my wife, even before I was busted for pot. I've always stayed in Canada. My vacations are Montreal, Vancouver, Toronto, East Coast, wherever. I still haven't been to none of it. I still haven't been to the Northwest Territories or Yukon, but it's on my bucket list, right? And that costs money to do that. I'm going to keep my money here in my own country. I've always been that way. Okay, get to your show, guys. Nice talking to you guys. I'm glad to see everybody's alive. Peace out. Love all.
Thank you, Leo. Talk to you later, my friend. And go ahead, Dragon. Take us home.
Well, thank you, guys. Great game, Canada. You won. I lose. You should probably keep going like that, because you know what? We ain't gonna get you guys. You won the 51 state. I'm not gonna take you all. Thank you.
You cracked me up, you and your Donald Trump with your French Canadian accent. But you're scaring me, because now I'm thinking, oh, maybe that's where we'll end up if he is successful in his takeover of the country. I can't even believe I'm saying that, but no, I am a true patriot, a true Canadian patriot, and that means, I'm going to stand on guard for thee. And folks, I will be back at 10 p.m. Eastern. That is that's 48 minutes from now, Eastern Standard Time, with Maverick Midnight Matinee. And the movie tonight, it's a mystery. What it's going to be. I have one picked out. I have to make sure that I can make that work, so I'm not going to tell you what the title is in case I'm wrong. But make sure you tune in at 10. Come on back. participate in the chat, and it'll be a fun night. I'm sorry we didn't do it last week, but we'll make up for it and have double the pleasure, double the fun tonight on Maverick Midnight Matinee. Love you guys, and what do you want to hear tonight, Dragon? I'll play a tune for you.
Let's go with, Freedom Dog.
Freedom Dog.
Or
Free
Freedom
Dog.
Cosmo, as
You
always.
want Free Dog? Okay. Here we go, folks. Here's Cosmo, Free Dog. Love you guys. See you in less than an hour on Maverick Midnight Matinee. And if you're not there, I'll see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on our regular Maverick News program, 7 p.m. Eastern on the flip side. Take it away, Cosmo.
Well, I heard old Cosmo howling last night up on the hill where the moon shines so bright. He was singing a tune, lonesome dogs cry about freedom and running and touching the sky. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmo's free, running wild, wild as the wind can be. He's a free dog, he's a free dog, he's a free dog. Cosmo's got them paws that just itch to roam. He's chasing his dreams, he's far from home. With a heart full of love and a spirit so free, he's living his life wild and carefree. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmo's free, running wild, wild as the wind can be. He's a free dog, he's a free dog, he's a free dog. He's got the stars in his eyes, the wind in his fur, a tail that wags like it's never heard of a blur. Cosmo's on a journey, he's got no chains. He's running through fields, breaking all the lanes. Now the night's getting cold and the sky's turning gray, but Cosmo's still out there, he's miles away. He's not looking back, he's got his path to tread. With every step, he's leaving his path. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmo's free, running wild, wild as the wind can be. He's a free dog, he's a free dog, he's a free dog. So if you're feeling lost, just think of Cosmo's run. Remember his spirit, his freedom, his fun. And maybe one day, when you're feeling low, you'll find your own freedom and let your spirit go. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? Cosmo's free, running wild, wild as the wind can be. He's a free dog, he's a free dog, he's a free dog. Stars in his eyes, the wind in his fur, a tail that wags like it's never heard of a blur. A heart full of love and a spirit so free. He's living his life wild and carefree. He's got the stars in his eyes, the wind in his fur, a tail that wags like it's never heard of blur. Cosmo's on a journey, he's got no chains. He's running through fields, breaking all the lanes.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.